crew.
What's up, guys? We are back with another video.
We are back. Alright, guys, so check this out. For those of you that have seen part 1 and part 2, this is part 3, as promised.
Obviously.
By
the thumbnail.
And then next will be part 4. Anyways, though, part 3 is crazy as well as part 4 because it pertains to this year. And it pertains to exactly why we stopped doing YouTube. You'll understand why, trust me.
And not only that, but as like a little part of how serious this was for us, as you can tell by the drive, we are not at home, and I'm pretty sure you can tell we are in a hotel. We did not want to film this in our home.
Whereas was happening, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's get to it. Waste no time. Alright, so the beginning of this year, it was January.
I think the 11th or something.
It's like January 11th, if I'm not mistaken. I had got a message again on Facebook Messenger from the same thing.
Almost 2 years later.
Yeah, almost 2 years later, the same thing that wrote me almost 2 years ago. As you've seen the thing that was going on in part 1 and 2. So, it wrote me on some crazy. It wrote me I remember one thing that it had told me was, Malcolm, you think that I left you alone 2 years ago because of God. Said I left you alone because I got bored with you. And I was like, oh. And it would say things like that, like really bashing, it. And if I'm not mistaken too, you know what, let me just hold on real quick. So last time it wrote me on Facebook Messenger was March 5th. So when it wrote me, it said, and it wrote me at 11:11 a.m. January 21st. It said, hello Malcolm, I am back and I feel extraordinary. You may flee, cry, beg, do whatever you wish, for soon you will not have the ability to do so. And then it said, I'm not going to read all of them, there's so many, but I'll read this one so you guys just know the level of seriousness. This is not a human. So it said, I crave abysmal hatred, in which I truly have towards you. 5 years following you, although I must admit admirably, these 5 years have been arousing, if not substantial years of time lapse for us. My children and I have learned so much about one another. I feel astoundingly satisfied hunting your purity. You must never forget, Malcolm, I was once an angel myself. I know what it feels like to be an angel and to not fit in, or to seemingly receive no acknowledgement that you internally cry out to fulfill. The angel that removes their wings rather than the angel that keeps thy wings are much more powerful. I have been tenaciously patient with you. Stop ignoring me, Malcolm, because I don't write them back. And I stopped opening them. Thou shalt let me in deeper. View this in your mind profoundly, will you? You and I are in 2 see-through glass containers with an unblocked door. We are just staring at one another through the glass, only separated by the glass and an unlocked door. What I need you to understand is this. Open the door and let's share a glass container. This is so easy for me to just open the glass container. Truthfully, the best option and conclusion for you would be that you open the unlocked door. If I have to open it, thou shalt and will suffer at no mercy in my hands. So what I'm taking from that is, he's saying the only thing, not in exact terms a glass container, but what I got from that is, I'm right here, Malcolm, you're right there, and that was weird, I'm right here, listen, no, they're over there, and Malcolm's right here, and, I'm sorry, we're laughing, but what he's trying to say is accept him, read his stuff. Not only that, write him back. He's been dying for me to write him back, even back in January. Even back 2017. That's what he wants, because I feel like once I write him back, that allows him into my life. He's just kind of I'm sorry. He's just kind of like, oh yeah, well I'm here, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to, alright, let's get serious. So, that's what's basically he's saying. Like, he's threatening me like, oh, if I have to open it, you're gonna suffer. But in reality, he's trying to force me to think that he's gonna open it, something's gonna happen to me. So therefore I open it, which then it really, excuse my language, me over. So that's what I got out of that. So with that being said, we're gonna jump straight into the juicy stuff. So, all this was going on, and I started once again waking up every day at 3 a.m. And right now, probably not the best time to talk about this, but it is 3:17. I don't know if you guys see that. 3:17 a.m. So anyway, so I started waking up at 3 a.m., right? And I started having the weirdest, strangest, like, dreams ever. And they felt so real, and every single one of them was bad. Every single one of them was me getting just wrecked, like bad, just getting up, pretty much. I would probably wake up almost every night. Some nights I wouldn't wake up Maribel, but other nights I would, and I would explain my dream, or I would wait till the morning and explain it. But it became so regular, like on a regular basis, that I was like, I'm not gonna wake up every single night. But they did happen almost every single night, and it started really bugging me. So we reached out to help this time, big time. We went to a Christian church, a Catholic church, a Jehovah's Witness church.
Getting the voices.
Oh yeah,
that's how it started.
Yeah. I'm forgetting. Hold on, guys. I'm forgetting one of the biggest pieces here.
So, Malcolm's sister had came and lived with us, and this was like the beginning of January. And one day, it was y'all two, right?
Yeah.
It was them two, and they heard something, and it was like a Thursday, and they heard something like a growling or something. So they came and they told us, well, they told me, but I mean, I was like...
Well, you remember how it first started? We were all sitting in the living room, and we heard a little girl.
Oh, I want to talk about this.
We heard a little girl, and she was like, Mommy? And we all reacted. We were like, what?
Oh, yeah, because the kids were asleep in the other rooms, in their rooms.
We went and checked all the kids, like, nah, somebody's playing with us.
Yeah, and we both looked.
I still have it.
No.
Oh.
We both looked, like, all three of us, we turned around, and I was like, was that Vailea? Because that's her daughter's name, Malcolm's niece. And I was like, she's like, no, she's asleep. So we all went and checked on the kids, and they were all asleep.
But we dead ass, clear as day, heard a little.
Yeah, like literally right behind. Well, I was sitting here, Malcolm's sister was sitting here, and then Malcolm was sitting here, and me and her, we both turned like that because we heard it like literally like right here, like in between me and her, and it was right here. Yeah,
so then we hear it, right? So we're kind of like spooked out a little bit, like, oh my gosh, what's that? But we're not thinking it's this other thing yet.
Yeah.
Until, because this all happened, then it wrote me on Facebook. We were hearing crap around,
for like a week, I think.
Yeah, for a while. And then it gets worse. So we started digging deep. We started recording. We started putting stuff, trying to record it. And, I mean, you seek and you will find. Then it got worse, and we heard the same little girl around like 2-3 in the morning. We heard her. We were all sleeping in our room, like everyone. We were all bunked into one room.
Yeah.
And on the other side of there's a sliding glass door. I remember clearly we heard, she was like, Mommy? She was like, are you there? She was like, help me, please, Mommy, help me. And yeah, we caught it on audio, which Meryl's dad, it's not that he doesn't believe in this stuff, it's just this kind of stuff, he's just kind of like, that's a movie. But when he heard it for himself, I'll never forget. I remember we're gonna fast forward. So we heard it that night, right? We were all tripping out.
And we went and called my parents.
For them to hear it. We're like, we gotta tell your parents. So we went and got our parents. Our parents came. We all went and sat in the living room.
Did they hear anything the first day? No.
The first night, they didn't hear anything.
Yeah, so we ended up going back to sleep.
That's why we were like, you know what? No,
we're tripping.
We're tripping. The next night, literally the next night, it did it again. It started doing it at night. We heard the little girl, but this time we heard a little girl and then a guy like yelling.
And then you heard the mom too.
You heard the mom, yeah, like communicating with the little girl, like, and yes, this is all happening out loud. You can hear it, like, as we're talking, you can hear it.
We really thought like there was somebody having a conversation like right next to us, like right on the other side of the door.
And like it gives you the chills up your whole body, like it trips you out because you're looking for a source, like you're like, who's there, and it's just like trippy. I hate when. The camera started tripping, but so then we heard the girl, the guy sound like a man, and then we heard the mom, which we're thinking is the mom, is a woman. Then we all go sit in the living room.
And we go get my parents again.
We go get the parents, and you know, like that's, I don't know, like a rumbling sound. So we're all sitting there, and this is what broke the ice for the mom and the dad. And all you heard was like the house was shaking, damn near, like it was vibrating.
Yeah, it sounded like electricity,
like building up energy. Yeah. And then like it charged up, and then you just heard like a deep ass demonic voice say some shit in another language that nobody knows what it said. Then the mom yelled down to the front of where it was coming from. She started yelling in Spanish, like, you know, this is the house of God and all this stuff. And it started laughing in like a deep ass demonic voice. But mind you, before it did it would build up like.
But before that though, before she even said anything, she started walking up, because we have 2 steps to go to the dining room and up. So she started walking up, and she immediately got the chills, and she came back and she sat down right next to me.
And she looked at us and she was like, something's not right, like.
She's like, there's something here, I can feel it. And my mom never like
acts like that.
Yeah, and she was walking up, and she just like went right back and she sat down. And then my dad, since he didn't really believe in that stuff, like he sat like right there where she was going to go, and he sat right there, and he was just like still tripping, like, no, that's not what it is, that's not what it is. And we're like, no, we're not tripping. And he finally heard it. Like he finally heard it say his name.
It said my name. Yeah. I don't even know how to imitate it. I don't even want to imitate it. But it said my name, and like picture something deep, demonic, and like just nasty saying my name, but it dragged my name out. Like it wasn't like Malcolm. It like dragged it out. And he goes, huh? Who's there? And it said it again. And then he's like, huh? And then all you hear, like a deep, I'm telling you guys, like it's deep as fuck. Like this shit is deep. The voice is like insanely deep. And it told the dad, it said, burn the house down. Straight up. No bullshit. Then he asked, he walked away and was like, who goes there? Who is that? He came and sat back in the living room, and then the mom started saying again, like, get out, this is our house, you gotta get the hell out of our house, it's the house of God. And then I finally walked over there, and they wanted me to confront the noise, so I walked over to where it was coming from. So like picture, I'm standing here, right? Like picture me right now, I'm standing here, and I go over there and I'm like, what do you want? I'm like, you need to get out of our house, and this is the house of God. And I can hear the voice as if something's like right in the front of me. And I was like, who are you? And that shit said just one word, said devil. No, I just got the chills. It said devil, and I was like, and I just stood there, and I was like, well, I don't care who you are, you need to get out of my house. Like, this is the house of God, I'm not scared of you. Like, I'm still not scared of it. But, I never was, I don't know why. But I told her, like, you need to get out of here, like, you can't be here. And it just started busting up, laughing at me. So I started walking back to the living room where everybody was sitting at, and it started laughing hysterically. And then it started talking in, like, we believe Latin. Started speaking in Latin, and none of us know Latin, so we don't know what it said. We weren't trying to find out what it said, and it kept talking in Latin, and The mom told her, like, we don't speak that, and we don't know what that is. And it just kept laughing. It just laughed at everything we told it. And I'm talking like loud, like the shit was on a megaphone, loud. And like, some of you guys are probably not believing this, but I promise you, it's so real. Like, I can't even, like, I'm not gonna force nobody to believe this. Like, we've been through it. I mean, we left the house for a month. Our own home, we didn't stay in our home for a month. So we went and stayed at, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. The Voices, this is all you need to know. The Voices continue. Her little sister brought friends over to the house, had this guy bless.
Yeah, other people heard it. Like, her friends heard it.
Had this guy bless the house. He's like, oh, bro, I've been through this, you know what I mean? Like, I've had doors get slammed and stuff. He heard it. And the girls that he brought heard it, and they looked up and they were like...
And they left.
They left the house. All 4 of them were gone. They were like, let's hear this. Like, it was like a game. Like, we're going to hear this. And they heard it. They were like, all right, Adrian, mom coming to pick us up. They were gone. They wanted nothing to do with it. Obviously, it went around the school. Her school people were like, oh, can we visit your house? They tried to play it like a game, but we didn't want anybody coming over. We were pissed at that because that feeds into it.
Or give it energy. We didn't want...
Like, it's not a joke. They're like, oh, I want to see.
Not only that, but we didn't want to put these kids in danger either. If we felt unsafe or we felt scared, we didn't want to, put them in that state of mind or being that scared or anything. So... that's why we were upset, and we didn't want her to think like this was some joke or this was a game, because it wasn't. It was serious.
It still is. And I mean, like, one thing that I cannot stress enough that I thank God for almost every day, I try not to miss a day, is that through all of this, our kids never got hurt. And that was our biggest fear. But I did get hurt. We'll talk about that in part 4, because we'll have pictures and everything to go along with that. But to sum up part 3, so it's not dragging too long for you guys here that are watching.
Well, first, okay, so let's say this part. So we have a family friend, which is the same family friend that is Ailani's godfather. In her baptism video, that's her godfather.
Yeah.
He actually lives across the street from us, and he has like a back house, and it's just him in that house. So it's one bedroom. Like, his house is just, it's a little bit bigger than this room, and he came over that night because we were tripping. So he came over that night and he was like, there's something here.
He's really strong with God too.
Yes, he's very strong with God, and he felt it, and he goes, come on, he goes, let's all go, pack your stuff, because we were gonna leave. We were gonna go to a hotel, but then my dad called. Once we called my dad, and then my dad called him, and he walked across the street and everything. And then that's when he told us, he goes, pack your stuff, like, let's go, we're going to my house. So imagine a 1-person home, and it was Malcolm, me, Trudy, which is Malcolm's sister, Mariah, Ailani, Tony, my sister Kina, my brother, and my mom and dad. So it was, 10 of us? 10 of us, plus him. 11 people in a 1 home, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, 1 living room, 1 bed. And he let us stay there for literally 1 month. And at first we would go across the street and we would go get our stuff in the morning. We would wake up early in the morning, we would fix our bed and everything, because he let us have his room. And we would go across the street and we would shower and get dressed and all that, and then we would leave. I didn't work at the time, so me and my mom, we literally spent all day long in the street. Like, we didn't go to his house because we didn't want to intrude.
Or overstay welcome.
Yeah, so, and we didn't go home. So we literally stayed out, like, all day long. We would go to stores, or we would go to eat, or we would go to the park, and we would just sit and fall asleep because we were so tired. But that was me and my mom's day for a whole month.
And to add to this, there's stuff that we're missing because we want to save a lot of this because part 4 is going to close out. It's going to be insane. You don't want to miss it, I promise you. We have pictures and everything. Confidential stuff. We have a lot of stuff that we're going to show you guys. Everybody on the Ammo crew will get to see it. But during this time that they were gone, there was twice where they would go home to something messed up. We're not going to really talk about that right now, but stay tuned for that. One thing I do want to share with you guys is when this stuff does happen, right? When we went through this 2 years ago, this isn't the only thing that happens. Everything in our lives start to go wrong. It affects us as people, our jobs. When it first happened, like you guys heard, I was out of like 3, 4, 5 jobs. Like I couldn't hold a job, and I hold jobs. Like the job I have right now is going on 3 years, and it's like. So once again, when the stuff started this year, things started going bad. I'm gonna share one incident with you guys. I was driving to work. I was on the freeway, switching through the lanes. I was going like 30, 35. There was hella traffic, and I see a cop in my mirror, and he's dodging through lanes, and I'm like, no way. He comes right behind me and lights me up. But before he lit me up, I got out of his way. We're in the carpool. Went back in front of the 18-wheeler that was in front of me, and he pulls me over, and I'm like, okay. So he comes into the window, and he goes, do you know why I pulled you over? I was like, no. I still have the ticket. It's in my wallet. I hold on to it. I was like, no. He goes, well, I pulled you over because you can't have anything hanging in your mirror. And I'm looking around like, how does this fool know I had something hanging in my mirror from way back there, right? So he gets all my paperwork, my license, insurance, registration, goes back to the car. Then he comes back, he goes, alright, so I was going to dock you down for the $75 ticket or something like that for what's hanging in your windshield. Mind you, already took it out. And he's like, but I'm going to dock you for something different. I am going to put you down for, you being in the carpool with just one person. And I was like, I got in the carpool lane to let you in though. He's like, yeah, regardless of that, I didn't ask you to do that, so go ahead and sign the dotted line. And I was like, of course you didn't ask me to do that. It's called courtesy, bro. Like, I literally went like this and got in front of the 18-wheeler, and that was it, and I let him pass. But no, he waited and got right behind my ass again. So when that happened, right? So I got a ticket, and the guy's last name was Mitchell. So I'm gonna share one thing before we close this out, so you guys know how serious this is. It wrote me and it said, Malcolm, do these years mean anything to you? 1912, 1928, 1936, 1986, 1973, and my favorite year, 1976. Her name was Annalise Mitchell. What I need you to understand is this. You are mine. I cannot and will not be stopped. You must not disagree with that. That I shall burn in the front of the world. Malcolm, please, if you will, enlighten myself on the police officer's last name that stopped you. It wasn't Mitchell, right? Can you feel me in your life now? I'm getting comfortable and it feels so good. Now you guys see what I'm talking about when I say that it tries to ruin our lives. Especially my life. I don't know what the problem is. But with that being said, we'll close it there. I'm telling you, don't miss part 4. We're going to cover the rest of this stuff. Try to keep it 20-25 minutes for you guys. But that it gets so much worse than that. As you guys know, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You want to don't forget to slap that bell icon whenever you want to see the Ammo Crew. And when you do those 2 things, turn your post notifications.
When you do those 2 things, subscribe and turn your post notifications. Don't forget to comment down below so you can get a comment shout out.
You want a post notification shout out too, you better comment below. With that being said, no more furthermore ado. We out. Ammo Crew out. I love y'all. Ammo Crew out. Yay, yay.